secretary effective immediately. A motion is made to appoint Borough Clerk Roseanne Calaruso to the position of Borough Secretary, retroactive to April 1st. A motion is made to make a resolution to allow the grant committee to work with Chris Cawley and Darrell Polish to define the project for Luzerne County CDBG $15 grant, $1 million grant. A motion is made to approve a resolution for the grant committee to work with Chris Cawley and Darrell Plosh to define the project for the multi-model grant and GTR grant. A motion is made to approve the borough to enter into a paper shedding program. The borough will be reimbursed up to $2,000 per event, limited to 2 events per year. A motion be made to approve the resolution agreement between the boroughs and the SPCA for the exceptions for stray animals found in the borough. 2 options are under consideration. There'll be a motion made to approve a resolution for the Wanning Borough, approval of master lease for the FNB Bank for the lease of the Dodge Charger. Any questions? No. Take a vote to bring everything. What's that? Yeah. Wanning Borough Council meeting April the 9th, 2018 will now come to order. Please stand, face the flag of our country and recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Yes, I do. Writing's going to be somewhere. Roll call, please.
Mr. Stephen Nello.
Present.
Mr. Frank Burek.
Present.
Mr. Michael Beloga.
Present.
Mrs. Diane Smile. Present. Mr. Michael Flynn.
Here.
Mr. Joseph Sculp.
Here.
Mr. Joseph Dominic.
Present.
Attorney Shannon Craigton Sanchez. Here.
Thank you. The minutes from March 2018 meeting are available for review at the borough office. We need a motion to accept. Mrs. Smiles. Second. By Mr. Flynn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it, so moved. Reports of the police commissioner, street commissioner, and the warrant enforcing officer, and a copy of the bills paid for the month of March 2018 have been submitted and placed on file for public inspection. Reports and committees. Personnel, Mr. Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A motion will be made to accept the resignation of the Borough Secretary, Marcella Starr, for any and all other assignments done by the Borough Secretary effective immediately. A motion will be made to appoint Borough Clerk Roseanne Calaruso to the position of Borough Secretary, retroactive to April 1st, 2018. Wyoming Borough Council would like to recognize Borough Clerk Roseanne Calaruso for bringing into the borough $17,295 in past due sanitation fees. Her personal diligence, along with assistance from the current tax collector, Paul Kanopka, has accomplished this, and great job, guys. Very good. Okay.
For you people that don't know our borough secretary, will you please stand up, Roseanne Calaruso. I think you've probably all met her once before. Thank you.
Dale, I'm going to report.
Thank you. Finance and grants, Mr. Scully.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. An LSA grant in the amount of $30,000 for the work described in the grant for Flack Field was approved. Approval for the work. Sorry about that. Approval for the work proposed in the grant will be discussed at the borough work session. The grant for Bowman Park was not approved, and West Wyoming grant was withdrawn by West Wyoming Borough. Pass a resolution to allow the grant committee work to work with Chris Colley and Darrell Polish to define the project for the Luzerne County CDBG $15 million grant. And a resolution to approve a grant committee to work with Chris Colley and Darrell Polish to define the project for a multi-model grant and GTR grant. That's the number report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Scholes.
I have a couple questions on that. The grant committee, when was that ever discussed to put a grant committee together? Are the members already designated? Has anyone discussed this? Anybody?
Nothing on that?
We already read Justice Schultz, Mike Flynn, and Frank Burek, we always have the grant.
All right.
You've always had the grant committee, so let me ask you this. Chris Colley, that does our grants, we had an opportunity to, although we didn't get the grant for Bowman Park, Representative Cofford advised that we apply for an Act 13 grant. I contacted Chris Colley. He informed me through email that Tamara was working with council to get together to have a special meeting prior to this grant deadline of April 7th. So I guess my question is the council, did you guys get together?
No, we did not.
Were you notified of it, Mike?
No.
You weren't notified? Diane, were you notified?
No.
Joe? Mike? Frank?
Yes, sir.
So, I guess my question would then defer to you, Tamara.
Chris Colley spoke to me. He said he did reach out to Mike, was not able to get all the stuff together. He said that this GTR grant was actually for more money, and we couldn't apply to both of them. It's a Greenway Trails grant, and we can still use it for the parks, and he felt that that was a better way to go.
So, just to be clear though, you said that you were trying to get a hold of these people to get in touch with them to have a special meeting.
I gave Chris their information. He
Okay.
asked me for it. He was to get in touch with them.
You were copied on the email though where he said you were, actually I have it right here.
By the Act 13 funds, are you talking about the Marcellus Shale Legacy Funds?
Yeah, this was, when Representative Copper basically tells us to, you didn't get the LSA grant, but I'm recommending that you apply for this grant. I reached out to Chris. He said he's working with council on their desires on what grants they would like to pursue, and informed right in that email that Tamara and I were both copied on that Tamara would be working with council to get you guys in on a special meeting, because obviously if the representative tells us to apply for a grant and all it is a new app, it would be a no-brainer.
But just as a follow-up on the Act 13, Luzerne County does receive a lot of Act 13 funds on a yearly basis, which they have an application process for and they distribute it to the communities. So, there is funding available through the county, so just to keep that in mind, the borough could apply for Act 13 funds through the county, because the county keeps very little for itself and it gives to the municipality, so there
I guess my
would still
point
be
of
a
this whole thing
chance
is
to
that
get.
there's just no real communication. When our grant writer, is he here? Is Chris here?
No, he was unable to make it tonight.
When our grant writer basically responds in an email that our borough manager is working with council to call a special meeting and not one member of council is aware of that, I think that's an issue.
Chris Colley did speak to me.
I just asked you if you did. You said no.
You asked me if he talked to me about this.
An Act 13, a special meeting.
That's right.
Okay.
And I wasn't available.
But you said you didn't talk to him.
You asked me specifically if he spoke to me about that grant.
Okay. So
And
because
he
you
didn't
weren't
speak to me about any
available,
grant,
everyone
he
else
spoke to me
was.
about getting together, and I was not available.
Okay.
Okay.
So then if that's the case and we missed out on a possible grant that our state rep advised us to apply for, I would ask council, you guys see the disrepair that park's in, there's holes in the basketball hoops. The kids, the weather's getting nice, I would ask that since we missed out on that, you guys willing to put some money up to get some new basketball hoops and make some renovations so that the kids have a place to play that's safe. That's a glass bank board and it could fall at any time and cut somebody.
I think it has to be looked at. It's not something that you're going to decide in 5 minutes.
Why not? We decided on another issue to get our Tahoe painted in no minutes.
That's right.
We're gonna get to that soon though.
We can get to that.
How much do you think the basketball hoops or whatever?
6 basketball hoops, maybe the bank board, I don't know, $500 a hoop.
Should be that much.
Well, those are
The
the,
backboards and the
They're the glass commercial ones.
Those were made by N Refrigeration and donated. The problem with that is when it's cold out, they do. Kids throw rocks at them when it's cold, that's a problem. We're not gonna get those kind anymore because naturally they're not gonna be donated anymore. So I don't think they're that much, but I would figure the hoops, most of the hoops are pretty good. It's just the backboards that you're gonna need. And yeah, they're probably gonna cost you.
By the time you retro to fit that pipe, probably $500 a shot.
No, not $500 a piece, Joe. No way.
Okay.
No way. But whatever.
We have to get numbers on it. We have to get numbers on it, and there's other things that we did when we first did the we make not a lot of money go a long way.
Well, here's what I don't understand with how things, I guess, are done here. And I mean, I know I've been explained to that my role is strictly related to the police department. Now, being that I'm in charge of the police department, at the last meeting, I asked you guys to possibly consider selling our top, since we have 4 vehicles now.
Let's not discuss that right now. It's not open.
We can have open discussions right now, Chip.
This is just on the grant. That's
We
all.
blew through the work session.
We're going
2
through,
seconds.
we're going through the
Be
files.
part of
right
the
now.
work session.
All right, please. Okay.
This is how, there's no
Emergency
transparency.
services, Mrs. Smiles.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is no report at this time.
Thank you, Mrs. Smiles. Health and sanitation, Mr. Yuri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motion will be made later for the borough to enter into a paper shredding program. The borough will be reimbursed up to $2,000 per event, limit 2 events per year. Details of the events are attached to the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Yuri. Public property, Mr. Yuri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A motion will be made later to approve a resolution agreement between the borough and the SPCA for acceptance of stray animals found in the borough. 2 options are under consideration and are attached to the agenda and can be discussed during the work session. Yeah, what are they? I mean, I don't.
What are considered straight?
Just as an explanation, and this goes for all municipalities in Luzerne County, all municipalities serviced by the SPCA. The SPCA will no longer accept any stray animals, meaning cats or dogs, and whether they're brought in by police or a borough employee or by a citizen, unless the municipality has signed an agreement with them paying for it. So if the municipalities don't enter into it, then they won't accept any stray animals from from the borough. And this is all municipalities. They had reached out to and sent flyers for public forums. I know last year, and some municipalities attended and attempted to negotiate pricing with the SPCA. There was a lot of questions and concerns, but it's basically one agreement. They're not negotiating a separate agreement with Nanacoke than they are Wyoming, than they are Plains.
What's the price? That's a
The 2 options are to bill based 55 cents per citizen with it based on the last census, so the 2010 census. So that would be, council had, or Wyoming Borough had approximately 3,000 residents as of the last census, so 55 cents per resident, so it's like $1,500 or so, or $19 per animal, but then you don't find out till the end of the year once they start to keep statistics. So if you were to enter into option B now, which is based on the census, and then get the statistics later and find out option A is a cheaper option, you could change at any time.
So do individual residents, could they take stray animals, I guess, if they first,
Not,
or no?
as of April 1st, no, not unless the borough enters into an agreement and pays for it. If somebody shows up and says, I captured this stray cat in my yard, they're gonna say, where do you live? And they say, Wyoming Borough, sorry, we're not accepting it from Wyoming Borough. The issue it could cause with, under the dog laws, dogs have to be held for 72 hours, so for our police that catch a dog, what are they gonna do with the dog for 72 hours if they can't house it at the SPCA? So, I know a lot of municipalities were upset because it's pretty much like holding the guns to everyone's head,
We'll just take it to the cat rescue, I guess.
but, so, I mean, it is what it is.
Thank you, Sharon.
Well, which way we've got to go? We have to go one way or the other.
A lot of the municipalities are going with option B for now, at least until they see their statistics, because they, I mean, they could make out on it, or they, you know, if they find out
Everybody
that
agreed
they're
option B.
underneath.
Yeah, then we can revert back.
Yeah, so even though you're signing an agreement, they give you the option to, once the statistics come in, to change that.
I can, okay.
Like so in January, you say, what were the stats for 2018, and you could change it if it looks like it's gonna be a cheaper option.
And we could do that any year, change back and forth?
Yep.
Okay, that's fine.
We're going with option B then?
Option B, thank you.
Streets and sewers, Mr. Yurk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Zoning and planning, Mr. Belogan.
I have no report tonight, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Belogan. Mayor's report.
A couple things. First, I'd like to commend Officer Noble. He took it upon himself to go meet with New Story and is actually going to start working with them and put a plan in place, you know, in case the unforeseen ever happens. So they're going to have an emergency action plan together down there at that facility. So I thought that was pretty good and wanted to commend him on that in front of everybody. This report, for quite some time, when you would list the calls, it included other things like shift change, community policing, which is when the officers drive down into Flackfield or drive past the school. I don't believe that's actually part of call volume, so I deducted that out, and I advised our commissioner to do that accordingly. So the police department responded to 255 calls this time. That's why it's not the 412 that's been on there. And you know, moving forward, that's the way we're going to look at it, because it doesn't make sense to consider a call when you're just changing a shift or driving through one of the parks to check on it. You're driving down Butler Street, and you know, that's not really a call. Being that it is, you know, under the police report now, I want to get back to this Tahoe issue. At the last meeting, I addressed you guys, and we talked about, now that we have 4 vehicles, it would make sense to look at selling one of them. My recommendation was the Tahoe, being that the Tahoe is an 09. Tahoe has, at the time when I looked at it, 54,000 miles. Our other 3 vehicles are 16s, 2 16s and a 17. So, I mean, we're a police department, we're small, we have, you know, at most 2 full-time officers on it during a split shift. When I first raised this, again, it was brought up through an email with our borough manager, and I was informed that it's not costing us anything to keep this Tahoe. Well, it is costing us insurance, and now, unbeknownst to me, the Tahoe was taken out of the borough and being turned into an unmarked vehicle. So once I contacted the company to find out who signed off on this, I found out that Mr. Flynn, Mrs. Smiles, and Mr. Noah Wyko were the ones that approved this. So I would just ask you guys, when this was discussed, because we were...
A good point is, our emergency management man is our chief of police. If both cars are being used, he needs that car for emergency management.
We have 4 cars. We have 4 cars.
Well, I'm just talking about the Tahoe. It's a 4-wheel drive vehicle, the only 4-wheel drive vehicle we have.
We have 2 other Explorers outside that are all-wheel drive.
I say no. We discussed this the last meeting, we voted no.
No, you voted to table it. What you did instead was you guys went and spent our taxpayers' money on getting a vehicle unmarked and painted without going, I mean, I understand this. I get that I'm the guy here that, you know, is the new person to the group, and that we're gonna play these little games. I'm gonna get, you know, letters from you that say you're only responsible for the police department, you can't change fire EMS protocols, you can't do the things the former mayor was allowed to do. And I understand that. But the problem is, you're spending taxpayer money. So we're wasting money when we have a park
Can
down
our
there.
solicitor please tell you what your job is, would you please?
I get on my job.
Chairman is right here, right?
You're not acting responsibly, Joe. Number one.
All right, let me ask you this, you're part of the police committee. Did you contact the 3 members of the police committee to discuss making this move?
We discussed it at
Yes.
an executive, and we also discussed
When?
it
No,
out
we did
here.
not, we did not discuss lettering issues in the executive
We
session.
discussed the
We
top.
did.
Why would you discuss that in executive session if it's not personnel?
You said we should table it and keep the car. And not- and we
I said that
discussed
we
it at
should-
the next executive
No,
session.
that's
and you-
not what I said.
And then the three people decide not, did you get a call?
You weren't
Did you get a
informed of
call?
No?
Who else didn't get a call?
Frank,
Me, I
you
didn't
were-
get a call.
you
There's
were
3 of us that
here.
weren't, wait a minute,
There,
excuse me.
top.
There's 3 of us that didn't get a call to discuss this or to make a vote on it, and 3 people voted on it. Is this legal? I want it in writing on your letterhead, signed by you. Signed by you that this was ethical to do before bringing it to council. That's what I want on the letterhead.
And the fact that there were no bids.
According to the borough code, you have to give me that in writing. In your professional opinion, should this have been done before being voted on?
It says that in section 1005, 1004 and 1005, I believe it's 1005, says expenditures can be made as authorized either in advance by council or ratified after.
I would like to have that in writing, signed by you.
So, no, speaking of the letter, so it's on the list of bills to be paid. So council can vote on it and reject it tonight and choose not to ratify it.
It's already started, the work already was started.
Yeah, I mean.
It's already been there for 2 weeks.
I'm asking you I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you, was it right to not inform 3 council members
And the mayor who's in charge
and
of the police
making
department.
yes, the mayor is making a decision on rural finance without
But yet,
making a vote on it?
to get money for the park that the borough does own, that has to be discussed thoroughly.
It
You
can,
need estimates.
it can,
We need estimates for that, but we don't need estimates to spend $2,000.
it can go through a committee.
1,400.
It was $2,000 until I called them and talked them out of brand new bumpers for it and a new seat because the commissioner informed me he wanted a new seat and 2 new bumpers. That the guy said I could fix those, I don't need to put new ones on. So I knocked $500 off your bill.
So you authorized.
No, I didn't. I actually have it right in an email, and I have it to her, and I said, what does this cost? And the guy said, it's $2,000. I said, what's getting done? 2 new bumpers. I said, why are you getting new bumpers? Because they're crap. Commissioner Flanagan said, I need 2 new bumpers and a seat. I said, that's ridiculous. He goes, well, I could get it down to $1,500. I said, I wouldn't do anything. I said, don't do anything. I have it right in an email. I copied the solicitor on it.
That's
I
fine.
called the
But
guy.
I'm gonna tell
Play
you,
your games. But
you
the
did
fact
the
of
wrong
the matter
thing.
is, I did the wrong thing.
You did the wrong.
You didn't consult with your other police officials. You spent their money on something that wasn't even done. It
You
was
spend the
insane.
money very responsibly.
Responsible. We have 4 vehicles.
And could you tell me what the cost of running the other 3 vehicles are?
No, I can't.
No, you can't.
But I know well, I was informed that Tahoe costs us nothing by our borough manager. I have that email.
Right, it's what, paid for, it has 50,000 miles on it, has the best ground clearance, it can go down along the river with no issues. The ground clearance on your other vehicles doesn't cut it.
Oh, okay.
Okay? You don't even know the cost of operation on it.
Get rid of one of the other ones
Get
then.
rid of one of the other ones.
Please,
Why do we need
quiet,
four vehicles?
be escorted out of the building. Yes,
Why don't you leave?
officer, you ready? Solicitor report? None report. The floor is now open to the public. Lorraine Michaels? Laura Michaels, please come up to the podium. State your name and
It's a shame, this is a joke.
Hi, my name is Lori Michaels. Pace, we're just a few of the crossing guards for Wyoming. Just a few things we need to discuss with y'all. One of the questions is, why are we not paid the same as other boroughs when we all have the same job? We all cross kids in the same school district. but yet we got West Wyoming that gets paid over $9 an hour. Exeter is getting paid $10 an hour. West Pittston is $9.28 an hour. We were $8 an hour until a recent 50-cent increase. We all do the same thing. We all work in the same school district. Why is one getting paid more than the other? We're the lowest ones on the totem pole.
You know it myself.
It's been this way for years.
I'd like to clarify something, just for you guys, because they brought this up to me, and I brought it up through an email to our borough manager, and I was informed in that email that you guys approved the raise that the previous solicitor had come up with. So therefore, you guys should have known that they weren't getting paid as much as everyone else at that point.
Why would we know?
Appreciate the 50-cent raise we did get.
We do, but we're still the lowest ones paid.
Yeah, that shouldn't be.
And that's not fair to us.
I don't know what the other communities
We didn't know what the other communities were paying. We didn't ask, I mean,
Well, now you
and I
know.
believe the school pays half of it. Yeah, so,
And we were told as of January, all crossing guards were going to get $10 an hour, $30 a day.
Who told you this?
When we went to a meeting they had here, we missed the meeting in, up at the high school. We weren't able to spot
Yeah,
it.
that was in the summer before school started, which we
It's
never
all
knew
of
about.
them, yeah.
They also said January, beginning of January, all crossing guards $10 an hour.
All news to me, all news.
We
We're never
appreciate
gonna
it.
receive the memo. Have you received any memo on that?
No, Jared has to talk to the school, because we can't actually give a raise unless we check with the school, because they have. And Jared did discuss with them, and then that's when it was said about 50 cents an hour raise. We weren't given any statistics of this is what this one pays, that's what that one pays. It was just negotiated that if we gave the raise, that they were going to do.
We were always the lowest one.
I never knew that. Ladies, I never
It's
knew
not
that.
fair.
No, it's not. I don't have a problem. $10 as long as we get it with,
As long as
Jared.
it's okay.
Yeah, Shannon, if you,
And I can talk to Jared, to
Yes.
the school district
Yes.
as well. Okay,
Yeah, fine.
I'll put it on
that's
the
great.
list.
Good, thank you.
Okay, I have another question.
Go ahead.
Another thing. All the other boroughs, okay, first of all, we, Wyoming, we get paid once a month. Every other borough gets paid every 2 weeks. Now, this is our gripe for all these years. No, we don't even get paid once a month. We don't get a pay till almost 2.5 weeks, sometimes a little bit more, into the following pay period. Who wants to stand on a corner in rain and freezing weather, and when that month is up, still have to wait for a check? And we never know, if we're always told that goes in, payroll goes in every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. Yes, for people who know they get paid on every other Friday or whatever. We sometimes get a paycheck on a Monday, sometimes it's a Wednesday, a Thursday, or a Friday. We never know when we're gonna get it.
It's a
We're always
surprise.
asking each other, did you get your pay?
It's a surprise.
Like timesheets. You have issues
Can you
with
give
getting
the,
your timesheets.
can you give the time sheets every 2 weeks, then we get paid every 2 weeks? How's that sound?
Every 2 weeks, and we get paid every 2 weeks.
Well, I don't see a problem with it.
I don't either.
No, that
Does
was
anybody have
great.
a problem with it here?
Wouldn't it actually be like a labor issue if they're not getting paid every 2 weeks being borough employees?
I think the labor and industry says you have to get paid every 2 weeks, but I'm not positive on that.
That's a full-time job.
Are the timesheets turned in on time?
No, that is one of the problems, is I don't always.
Make sure your timesheet.
That's why
Mine is always,
sometimes.
and I can only speak for myself.
Right, that's why I had talked to you and thought if somebody could be in charge again, like Della, since I get like one, I don't get somebody else's, and then I get another one, and I try to wait for everybody to come, and that's why I don't sometimes make you guys wait till Friday, because I finally get all the timesheets, and then I try to pay you
So
as
when
soon as
actually,
possible.
when
Mine-
actually is the, we have to turn it in by?
Well, when you were doing it monthly, it should have been by the
At
last,
the end of the month,
the last
okay,
day of the month, right? And then it does take a few days for payroll to get processed and everything, but it, you know, that's the problem, is sometimes I'm only getting like 3, and then I'm waiting another week for the rest of them to come in. So, if somebody could make sure that all the timesheets get in here every 2 weeks, then I have no problem with that. It's just, it's very difficult when I'm paying 3 people, and then I'm waiting for somebody else, and then I don't know if they ever turn their timesheet in. It just makes it difficult.
What are you doing about it?
That's what I had requested before, like Della used to get everybody's timesheets, hand them all in at once. But since Della's not here anymore.
Does everybody see
Carol, how do you
one?
fit your time sheet? Well, if everybody can,
Well, they have to tell
Well,
me.
why don't you pick out one lady to do these times,
Yes,
and
just
turn it
collect
over to
them,
her?
make sure that they all.
That way we know we have them.
well, so I mean, if you can all bring it to my house,
When does she want them? That's the thing.
when do you want them?
To get paid by weekly, when do they need to you?
See, well, you guys just got paid, correct? Last week. So, if you could get them to me by like this Friday, and then you would get paid by the next Friday, and then we could start from there on a schedule. And then we can do it every 2 weeks, we'll get started on a schedule.
That would
And
be
then,
great.
and then if I just have your information, and then like, which I think I do, but if somebody's is missing, I can, always that's why I had asked you when Della left.
I know.
You know, I needed somebody to organize because it's just been crazy, like I got yours, and then I didn't get anybody else's for another week. So I just, you know, if you could do that for me, then that would be great.
All right, what about, our pays, money-wise?
I'll have to check
Whenever we can-
As long as the
could you check with
Yeah.
Jarek and see what the school
Because
board?
both
Sides have to-
both sides would have to agree to it, so I'll tell them tomorrow morning.
Now, Exeter had an advertisement in the paper in January. They needed crossing guards for $10 an hour.
They're the highest paid ones.
We said we'll give you $10 an hour, we already said that.
Okay, that's great.
I mean, that's as long as the school. As long as the school board. We're okay with it. The school board is okay.
Thank you very much.
We're okay. I don't want to speak for them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Lynn, are you up next? Lynn, are you up now? That's both of you.
Pardon
You
me?
had your name down with her, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
They want you to speak
We
with
were
her.
supporting each other.
Al, please.
Well, they already spoke.
Okay.
They already spoke.
Thank you, Al.
Right,
Bertocci,
right here.
come up to the podium, please.
I didn't put a request to speak.
Yes, you got your name down there. No, not one, whoever.
Well, I did have something to say anyway. I own a home on Mining Avenue, and I don't know if anybody knows the truth or not, but I heard, I think, that Mining Avenue would be resurfaced at some point in the future, repaved.
They're paving,
Yeah.
they're paving up to the alley between Fifth and Sixth Street, that's it. That's all the grant is.
Okay, so not between 7th and 8th Street.
Yeah, from 8th Street up to the alley
Oh.
between 5th and 6th Street.
Okay, so my concern is that, I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but I noticed it quite often, is that there are people who drive to avoid the traffic light on 8th Street corner, and they drive down 7th Street, make a right onto Monument, zoom down to 8th Street, so that they can bypass the traffic light. So my fear is that it's a safety issue, number one, and number two, it's dangerous. If some kind of maybe speed bumps or anything like that can be installed to slow people down. I'm assuming most of them will come out of town.
I think you'd find out if you come on 7th Street, they go straight down 7th Street to Susquehanna Avenue. At my house, early in the morning, I think 8th Street is
Speed
blocked
bump
out.
there, too.
Yes, I think 8th Street is blocked.
I mean, I've seen it specifically, people making that.
I mean, it's nice if we have more cops, better calm, but, it's impossible.
Sorry.
It's impossible to control the whole town.
No, I'm saying if speed bumps are installed, what's the option on that?
Speed bumps, we had that option once before, and I think they put them out with a warning on them.
Perhaps Mayor, you can have a cruiser sit at some of these intersections, you know, especially
There's been
during
times
peak
that I've
hours.
sent, excuse me?
During peak hours, maybe just have a cruiser sit there. We do have problems with people just running.
Yeah, no, and I gave them a
lot
list
stuff.
of really heavily noticed areas that people have complained about, so I'll add that to it, because there is a list that they have that they.
School buses drop
Yeah.
children off, but speed bumps, just so I know, they're not being options or within.
Yeah, there was another issue on Susquehanna, we were coming off of the avenue, they were cutting through there and coming out down Susquehanna Avenue, so that was a hot spot that we recognized. There's a couple other ones on the list that I've sent the commissioner, so I'll add that to it.
Okay. But so speed bumps you'll add,
That's,
I'm not sure where the speed.
as I've been informed, I can help you with the police, I can't help you with anything else, so.
The other thing is could a street sign be installed on the corner of 8th Street and Minor Avenue? There used to be one there, it was knocked down, it was never put back.
Street side, see what the side, what the street is.
Street sign, yeah, like Main Street, yeah.
He probably has it downstairs, it's probably downstairs.
Well, we can, the borough, if we have it down there, now we'll have one made to put up.
Okay.
Thank you. That is, in Wyoming Avenue, you said?
Yeah,
Thank you.
and this may be a state issue, I'm not sure, but when you're on Wyoming Avenue, going to the traffic light at 8th Street, there's the 3 lanes to go left straight and right. There's a tree that's covering the sign that says right only, and I've seen people, primarily I guess on town, who go straight. And I don't know whose responsibility that is, because it's a tree lawn, it's a state road.
That's PennDOT.
PennDOT? Yes, sir. So if we're not having my name on the list, I'm going to say hello. Thank you.
Bobby Brazell?
First of all, a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, we had a little issue, a problem around our house. A person that was, I knew right at the beginning that the full deck of cards weren't there. So my wife called dispatcher 911, and Wyoming dispatched an officer. And never knew him, never met him. And he's here, matter of fact, he has no clue that I was coming up there. It has nothing to do with anybody else or anything else. Officer Noble. Donald Noble. Very professional gentleman.
Good man.
So with all the nonsense, with all these other towns, whatever's going on, I won't speak for the whole police department because I don't know, so I won't speak for him. But he did a very good job, professional job, so if you ever get him, you people in here, very good. Second of all, Jeff, back in November, I asked about the handicap on the corner of my street. Did Jimmy ever come up and look at it? So we never got the handicap deal. That's one, it might be one of the same persons. I got a complaint again about, it is a trip hazard because of the height. And again, I was directed by mail to address, which I am, I'm very familiar with, the ADA Association. So before something really gets, you know, it's, you know, Susquehanna Avenue gets a hell of a lot of traffic. Dog walkers, joggers, snow, ice, sleet, thunders, you know what I mean? So I just want to know if Jimmy ever got up there in the last 5 months, because I've been waiting since when Larry Solinsky was still on the street department to do that.
I'll get a hold of Jimmy tomorrow, and see what he can do for you.
That's just the rabbit one, not a rabbit.
Well, it has the high blacktop curb around it. You know what I mean? There's no handicap access, nothing like that. You know what I mean? We have a street sign that comes on 2 years. One other thing, I'll try to get it quick. When the solicitor was talking before about the census, that was done in 2010. Does anybody have any clue of how many people are in here in the last 8 years who have left the town?
But they're doing all municipalities by census, it'll be redone in 2020. So that was
2000 and when?
2020, it's done every 10 years, so it's scheduled to be redone in.
All right, because I knew it was not a youth group, you might as well say a youth group, they did it some kind of a project. And we just about broke 2,700.
That they decided those were the most official numbers, and they're treating every municipality, you know, the same, going off the census as a fair statistic.
Okay.
So, but it will be redone in 2020 and everybody's numbers adjusted.
All right. One other thing for that, when was that enacted? I forget, that sewer fee for every household, sewer fee, $100 a year?
The stormwater management?
Yes.
No,
The sewer, the sewer. When was
He said it was in charge, he is in charge of emergency services. I'd like to know why Mr. Nalawayko sent a letter to the 911 stating that council is in charge of it.
They are. Council is in charge of the whole.
According to the borough code, the mayor is emergency services.
He's in charge of police.
No, you told me the mayor was in charge of emergency services.
Police.
You said emergency
No,
services.
police, and he can declare a state of emergency, but he's not in charge of all of emergency services. He's
All right,
in charge
yes,
of
Declaring
police.
emergency
I know I'm not
and
getting
related
into
to certain
discussion.
actions during his time, his term.
I know. you just-
Was the former mayor in charge of those protocols prior to your letter on March 23rd?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. The copies are available with
Here's
For
your job
Robert Boyer's
description right
signature.
there. I want to read it, all relevant, but that's it.
Call down the county and ask for the previous ones. You'll see Robert Boyer's signature on it.
Well, shouldn't have.
Well, it was. All right, the second issue. Mr. Belonga brought up, made a motion to suspend the borough manager. Pennsylvania State Code says an employee can be suspended pending investigation by an external agency, may be suspended for the duration of the external investigation and up to 30 consecutive workdays after the conclusion of the external investigation. And also, Pennsylvania employment basics. Pennsylvania, I'll read this whole thing here. Thus, a court noted in Stump versus Stroudsburg Municipal Authority, 540 PA 391, 396, 1995. As a general rule, all employees are at will, absent a contract, and may be terminated at any time, for any reason, or no reason. So just so you know, you're on the right track.
Explained to you at the last meeting, I believe. We talked about the lawsuits and everything else, and I think.
How many lawsuits do you have going against the borough right now?
Not many. We have one, I think.
No, you have two. You don't even know. You have two.
It's not my knowledge.
Do you have errors and omissions insurance?
Do we have who? Yes.
Do you have errors and
Yes.
That covers any lawsuit. That's what you pay insurance for.
Right, but then if he gets sued, your premiums go up.
Pennsylvania's an at-will state. You could fire with or without reason.
Yes,
At
you-
least you could be suspended for the length of your duration.
Yes, you can, and if there's nothing wrong, you have to pay back all that money. You have to pay back all that money for them doing nothing,
You're paying all the money anyway.
She's doing the job.
but she's doing the job.
Mark, the coach?
No,
Oh, coach.
Need a second,
Thank you. John Roberts?
Battery died.
Just a couple of things that happened at the library. We wanted to thank you. We received our $500 appropriation. We appreciate the appropriation. We had our April Children's Produce distribution, and we serviced 20 families. We distributed close to 700 food for families all over Western County. And our next distribution is going to be on May 19th. We have a big book sale coming up April 27th and 28th. And our ad hoc committee is in the process of putting together a community event that we call that park. It's going to be a wine tasting in the park. So we're in the process of putting that together. Once we have more details, we will share them with the council. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. calling the...
Lou Champion.
Oh.
How you doing, everybody?
Good.
I'm Lou Champion Jr. I'm the Vice President of the Wyoming, West Wyoming Little League. I come in peace. Trust me, I'm here for the kids.
Thank you.
And we should all be here for the kids. Whatever politics there's going on, let's put them aside for a couple of minutes and let's get some good work done. The last time we were here, Mike Krakowski, by the way, who's our president, is over in West Wyoming right now. Our Teener League right now is not able to play on the back road field, so we're trying to get back into the good graces so our children could play ball in West Wyoming. So we're busy. The last time we were here, we asked for permission to apply for a casino grant. And we got a call from Aaron Coffer a couple weeks ago. We were awarded a grant for $50,000. So I just want to say thank you, Mayor Dominic, thank you to all of the members of council for giving us the opportunity to apply for this. I want to ask a question after some of the tit for tat was going on this evening. Right now, we've been feverishly involved in getting ready for the season. Mike Krakowski, who we used, Chris Cawley, is our grant writer. Is that who we should be working with to implement this one? Is that's how it works? Is there anything we need to be reporting to you guys? How should we do that? Chris will take care of it? Chris will take care of it, so, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
It just run by council, let us know what you're doing, that's all.
Well, really quick, some of the top items: bleachers, dugout benches, irrigation systems, scoreboard, iPad system, fryers, all the good stuff.
Mr. Champion, we'll get together with you.
Okay, great.
This hall, yes.
Great,
You tell us when, we'll be there.
Outstanding. I want to just point out a couple more things. A couple big sponsors. Pat King from Evergreen has been a tremendous help to our Little League. Hal Flack, everyone knows how much the Flack family has meant to our Little League and to our community. Right now we're doing a capital campaign. For every dollar that we raise up to $10,000, Hal Flack is going to match $1 up to 10 grand. So right now we just received a very big donation from Wyoming Host House #2. Thank you very much. We're almost at 5 grand. We can push it around. I've got envelopes. If we can push it up to 10 grand, that's $20,000 for the Little League. We'll do a bunch of good for the kids. All right? I just want to point out one more thing. Right now, we're on the field. Flack Field is adjacent to the adult softball field. All right? A couple of years ago, the flood authority put those guide rails in, which makes parking very difficult. When the softball folks and the Little League folks have something going on, parking is at a premium. And it happened a couple times this weekend. Really didn't hurt anything, but we've got to make a concerted effort to have proper planning. And on a night there's Little League games, we're going to have to ask the adult softball people to park a little further down so the grandparents coming to see their grandkids play, namely my old band, so I don't have to listen to it. So I just want to point these things out. We're here for the kids. We're here to build a big coalition. Anybody with ideas that can help us, you know where to find me. I got envelopes. We want to fill with money. We want to do some good things. We'll sit down and we'll talk about the grant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Communications, what the communications received since the last meeting have been presented to council. Do you need a motion to accept them? Mr. Eric? Mr. Flynn, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Nays, ayes have it, so moved. A list of bills paid and received for payment have been presented to council and accepted by motion by Mr. Flynn and Mrs. Smiles. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Nays, ayes have it, so moved. A motion is made to accept the resignation of the current board secretary, Marcella Starr, for all her assignments done by the borough secretary effective immediately.
With deepest regrets, I will make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Urick. Seconded by Mr. Bologna. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Nays, ayes have it, so moved. I want to tell you people, Marcella did a terrific job while she was here, but Pete, sorry is here though. A motion is made to appoint Borough Clerk Roseanne Calaruso to the position of Borough Secretary, retroactive to April the 1st.
Can I ask a question about that first? Does that have to be advertisement?
No, under section 10 of the Borough Code, no, council has the authority to appoint.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Urick?
Nothing against Roseanne or anybody. My question is just when did council decide to nominate Roseanne for this opportunity?
There's a motion on the floor right now, Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry.
I'll ask, I mean, I never. I think she's doing a great job.
You say 70 grand, that's good. You know, the other people pretty
She has
good.
the experience.
I have no problem with that, I just didn't know about it, that's all.
She had the experience.
I know,
No,
but
no one-
who
no.
said it? Like, nobody.
Like, whose decision was to put it on his paper is the
I
question.
didn't hear about it. No, like, some of us didn't hear about it. We just need communication, that's all.
It was discussed, that's about all.
When?
With who?
At our meetings.
At what meeting?
And she does a good job.
Got lost in the transparency.
The resolution's in there today. Why don't you ask a question in the back end of the executive session?
We were talking about other things.
Well,
And that's for work session stuff. It's not, nothing, everything's
okay, we have a
okay.
motion on the floor.
Like I said, nothing against you. I'm just curious how your name ended up here when nobody knows.
A motion is made to appoint a resolution to allow the grant committee to work with Chris Curry and Darrell Flush to define the project for Luzerne County CDBG $15 million grant.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Urick,
I'll second.
Mr. Flynn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it, so moved. A motion is made to approve the resolution for the grant committee to work with, what, I just did it. Oh, I'm sorry. To work with Chris Perry and Darrell Plush to define a project for the multi-grant and GTR grant.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Urick, seconded by Mrs. Smiles. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it, so moved. A motion is made to approve the borough to enter in the paper shredding program. The borough will be reimbursed up to $2,000 per event, limited to 2 events per year.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Urick. Seconded by Mrs. Miles. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it, so moved. A motion is made to approve a resolution agreement between the borough and the SPCA for acceptance of stray animals found in the borough, option B.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Urick,
I'll second.
Mr. Flynn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
No.
Nays?
No.
1 no. We have a roll call.
Mr. Stephen Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Frank Burke,
Yes.
Mr. Michael Beloga,
No.
Mrs. Diane Smiles. Yes. Mr. Michael Flynn,
Yes.
Mr. Joseph Scalz.
Yes.
7-1, motion approved. A motion is made to...
Where's seven?
Motion is made to approve a resolution to the Wyoming World account a master lease with FNB Bank for the lease of the Dodge Charger.
Is that a police car? You know about that?
No.
Yeah?
First time finding out was just here tonight. It's not even. I mean, I think we should look into it.
Seconded by-
Look at all.
If the car was already delivered, correct?
Right, we purchased the car last year, this is just renewing our
Lease on the car.
Every year we have to do the lease over.
So it was already-
For the other two cars.
So it was already
This is
discussed.
just for the charger, the new one.
Yeah,
Because
so,
it's added, but we have to renew the whole lease.
so it's my understanding it was discussed last year, but since the bank sent over documents to be signed, I felt better having it voted on, for signature.
Yeah. Second one, Mrs. Miles. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Nays, ayes have it, so moved. Need a motion to adjourn?
No. I have a question, if you don't
Your
mind.
name was not on the list. We're
I
ready.
know,
We
'cause
have a
I got
motion to
here
adjourn.
late.
I'm sorry.
I have a motion.
The meeting,
I'm making a motion.
we have the motion to adjourn.
No, I'm making a motion. You did that real quick. I wanted to make a motion to put the 2009 Chevy Tahoe up for bids to sell.
Motion on the floor to put the 2009 Tahoe up for bid.
I'll second.
We have a second on that.
For Carson.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays?
No.
No? Vote, please.
Mr. Stephen Noel?
No?
Mr. Frank Burke?
No.
Mr. Michael Logan?
Yes.
Mrs. Diane Smiles?
No.
Mr. Michael Flynn?
No.
Mr. Joseph Scott?
Yes.
4 to 2 votes, so it's approved. We need some motion.
I make another motion. To suspend without pay borough manager Tamara Smith, pending the outcome of the investigation.
Suspend Tamara during the investigation. Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
There's a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
No.
Nays?
No.
No. Vote, please.
Mr. Stephen Noel?
No.
Mr. Frank Burke?
No.
Mr. Michael Logan?
Yes.
Mrs. Diane Smiles? No. Mr. Michael Flynn?
No.
Mr. Joseph Scott?
Yes.
42, the motion approved.
When, a couple months ago, the solicitor, someone asked her what the mayor's job was. She said police and EMS. Since the borough secretary is here, I would like her to go and get the book in a minute. I would like to look at her.
His job is to declare an emergency and regulations, certain actions during that time.
She was asked specifically, does that include firemen? She said yes, that the mayor is in charge of it. It's gonna be in minutes, and I would like
The
to
firemen are
see
under
the
their
minutes.
own jurisdiction.
In addition to the power granted to the mayor by 35 PA CS Part 5 relating to emergency management services, and in order to enable the mayor to effectively
Please keep that man quiet back there. There's a meeting going on, it's an outburst from the back. I want to,
Roseanne, I would like to look at the minutes while I'm here.
while she's here. Yes, it's okay with me.
Thank you.
Surely.
When you guys are done, I don't want to interrupt. At the city event, you're going to be listening, I have a question. My only question is, why this council, why is not everybody involved in the decision we have? Why did I hear Mr. Beloga saying, I didn't know about it? Why did the mayor say, I didn't know about it? Why did I hear Mr. Scott sometimes say, I don't know about it? We vote these people in to be a unit for us, represent us. Evidently, everyone doesn't know what's going on. And that's my only question, Chad. I know you. I'm just asking you honestly. Why isn't everyone included when you guys are holding sessions? And furthermore, why can't we get it on time? I have council been there, meetings up in Wazoo every day. That started at 8 o'clock, we're expecting at 8 o'clock.
We had an
Those two questions, I'm sorry.
We had an executive session back there and went overtime.
And which, your executive session, if you're planning it and it's run correctly, it should be done on time. There's no doubt about it.
You have discussion, it's never done on time.
Okay, all right, so people don't believe the discussion on time. Number two, can you please answer why some of the council and mayor are told not to sessions at home? How many things are done behind everybody's back? That's an honest question for me. I just have to find out.
There's nothing done behind nobody's back.
Mr. Beloga, you said before you didn't know about a lot of stuff. Is that true or untrue?
That's true. Exactly.
Mr. Stoltz?
Some of the stuff, yes.
Some of the stuff, yes. Our mayor?
I did not, I mean, I didn't even
Very simple question.
until I
I don't ask. I'm not here to start trouble. I'm not here to argue anybody. I only ask because these people want to know the same thing I want to know. That. How come we can't get 6 people or 7 people? Before the vote was 7-1, I counted 5 for 6 people, 5-1. So I don't know where extra 2 came from. But I'm asking, why can't we get it straight? That's all we're asking for, straight answers. I don't think it's very hard, John. Thank you.
All in favor, by saying aye. Motion adjourned.